Hey, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us on the Sweet Bailey YouTube. And I hope you all having a great day. Hope you all having a good time. We're here in the garage, and we're going to do some crafting, contracting, some building. We're not going to be talking about this at all. That's a separate project. But we're going to be talking about this here. And what's this? This is a door. Well, it's not a door yet, but it will be. I got my notepad here with some dimensions on it. And these upper numbers up here are the dimensions of that piece of plywood and the 2x4s. And that is going to be a door for the woodshed. So let's go out there and I'll show you and explain to you what I'm doing and why. So let me close the gate real quick here. In the winter time, the post and the gate, they get all wet and they swell up, and it's a bit of a tighter fit. Anyways, we're gonna be talking about the woodshed. So there's a nice new fence here, though. Check that out. So we go over here to the woodshed. This used to be just a solid wall, and we had a bit of an issue with the woodshed before because there was no way to get into the back of the woodshed. And when we get wood, I just recently put in that driveway too there, if you've seen my previous videos. Anyways, so you back a truck or trailer in here with the wood, drop the wood off, and then usually the back of the shed here was completely full of dry wood that's seasoned, ready to burn. But there's no way to get to it without rearranging the entire woodshed. So that is what this door is for. Plus, if we bring the wood from here to the back of the house, into the house to the wood stove, it's actually closer than it would be to bring it around the front of the house, stack it on the porch, and then bring it in that way. So the problem was we'd have seasoned dry wood in the back of the woodshed and no way to get it out of the woodshed, because there was always green wet wood in the front of the woodshed that was blocking it. So that was a bit of an issue, but we have resolved that now. It's also beginning to rain. So anyways, now we can have the dry wood in the back of the woodshed, the green wood in the front of the woodshed, just stack it all there completely, fill the whole thing up, and then we'll just bring the dry wood out from the back through this doorway here. We gotta go back around the front though, because it's starting to rain, and it's gonna get my project wet. It's kind of already wet, but we don't need it to get any worse. So that's why I'm building a door for the woodshed. And the way I'm doing it too is the plywood on the woodshed is the same plywood that was on it before, except for this one piece. So I'm reusing the plywood. I only had to buy one sheet of plywood, which will be this nice door here, and then we have that extra piece over by the car there. And then we had to buy a couple 2x4s. I bought 3 of them. They were only about $6 a piece, which isn't bad. Alright, we're back here, and it's a few days after the other segment of the video, the first portion, and we have gotten a rock. I was I was leveling out the yard a little bit the other day, and it looks like a mess now. But you know, if you give it 3-4 months, be patient, it'll be nice and smooth. And I'll have some grass growing over there. There was kind of a dip there, and there was kind of a hump over there by the woodshed. So I dug the hump out and kind of spread it over here where the dip was. You know, just kind of smoothing it up. You know, it makes a mess now, but later it'll be perfecto. Anyways, here's my door to the woodshed. And this was quite the process. I had to take this plywood off. It was just a solid wall, so I had to take this plywood off to cut it for the door there. And to do that, I had to remove this piece of wood up there, which is over there somewhere. Anyways, so I had to remove that piece of wood, and to do that, because I couldn't get the hammer in there because the hammer was too long to fit in there to pry the nails out, I had to also take that board off right there, which was right there where all of those nails are. So to take the plywood off, I had to take that board off. To take that board off, I had to take that board off. So after all of that, I had gotten the plywood off, and I like to, you know, there's nothing wrong with that plywood. It's a little bit old, and it's got some weather on it, but it's still a good solid piece of plywood. So I like to repurpose things and you know, make use of what I have. There's a nice falling limb there. Oh, I don't like that tree at all. It's pretty windy, and as you can see, there's already some limbs on the roof, and we just got that roof put on not even barely 6 months ago. Brand new roof, and we're having trouble with that tree there because you see it splits into about 4 tops up there, and if even one of those tops breaks out of that, then it could take out our garage, or take out our house. It could take out the neighbor's house, or the owner's house of the, you know, the tree. That tree is in the corner of the neighbor's property, and they like it, and they kind of don't want to get rid of it. It's a nice tree, but really, it belongs up there in the woods, in the mountains, because it's not very safe or practical to be in a residential neighborhood, because that's about 110, 120 foot fir tree. Anyways, I'm gonna have to do something about this. I just fixed this. I think the wind is blowing this like that. That's falling down, and my little locking mechanism is moving. Okay, so that's good. That's good to know. So I'll have to repair that so the door can't go inwards any farther. Anyways, blah blah blah, all that stuff. I took all the plywood off and I cut it. There was a kind of a 2x4 right there in the middle. Let's open this up and show you. Look at how nicely that opens. I just let it go and it opens itself. And I just made it out of 2x4s and plywood. So I had to buy one sheet of plywood, and I explained in the previous part of this video why I have done this. So in the front there, I put some 4x4s so you can stack the wood all the way up to the ceiling and they won't fall out of the woodshed. And I did the same thing back here. I had this 4x4 here, and it was, you can kind of see the holes there. That's where it was before. So when I took the plywood off, I had to move the 4x4 over here. I could only put it right there because of this piece of wood there for the roof. So I'd placed it there, and Then this this post on this side is not straight or square. It kind of leans in at the top. So I'd put this 2x4 in here. You know, it's a little bit hokey, but it's square and it's straight. So I just used the materials I had available to me to make a nice square doorway. And then I put the 2x4 divider brace there. And you know, there's a little gap here and there, but it's just a woodshed. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I appreciate it for what it is, and etc, etc. It got a little messy because the way this hinge is designed is it's literally a 1/2 inch thick from one side of the hinge to the other when it's fully closed, which I don't really like the design, but it was the best one available for my project that I had the opportunity to purchase. I think these two hinges were about $15 at the hardware store. The plywood, I believe, was about $40 or so. 2x4s, they were only about $6 a piece for 8-foot 2x4s. So I'm gonna make a locking mechanism, which will be a 2x4 and a wooden dowel. So I'm gonna kind of cut a slit in the plywood here for the wooden dowel to slide back and forth. Then you see my little cutout drawing there. That's the shape of a 2x4. So there'll be a 2x4 sitting here, and when you pull the dowel, you can pull the 2x4 back, which there'll also be a notch like that in this 2x4. And my fence boards, these fence boards here, some of the old ones, I'm using those as like spacers. So I'm going to put one of those here. I think I tossed them out in the yard somewhere. And then I'll have that there, the 2x4, just kind of sitting there, because you want it to slide back and forth. And then we'll use another one of them fence boards right here as kind of a barrier so it can't slide out or what have you. Then on the top we'll have to have some sort of 2x4 to hold the, you know, it's all to hold that one 2x4 in place so it can just sit there and slide back and forth. But of course you'll have to have a stopper on the end, blah 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 blah. But I figured out a pretty cool design where that when you open the handle, you can pull it like this, then you can open the door and you can let it go, and it'll be spring loaded technically, and it'll slide back out. So when you close the door, you pull the handle, you close the door, you let the handle go, and then when it's in the right position, it'll slide into the notch, which will be right here in this 2x4, and it'll automatically close itself. So the wind won't be able to open it or close it, such as it's trying to do right now. The dogs won't be able to figure out the mechanism, and it'll be very simple and easy. So the hardest part of that is to get two nice circular shapes in the plywood, and then a nice sliding opening here for the wooden dowel. It's a 1-inch wooden dowel, and then also it's going to be a bit hard to cut this hole in the 2x4 precisely so another 2x4 can slide in and out of it. So I'm just going to do what I can with the tools I have available to me. And actually I think what I can do for now is I can take one of these pieces of firewood and we'll just put it down here by that pier block. So if I set that right there and I close the door, then it'll hit that piece of firewood. I can close the door like this, and then the wind won't be able to push the door in, and it won't be able to come out, so then it'll stay closed. Awesome. So I'll stop the video here, and in the next segment of the video we'll build that other locking mechanism and conclude the video. So stick around. We'll have a tip of the day for you, which I like to do in all my YouTube videos, because I like to help people. I like to show others how to be more appreciative, how to see life in a more positive perspective, how to appreciate things more, how to be more generous, etc., etc. You know, all the nice things in the world. So stick around, and I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, be sure to hit that thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. And just remember, YouTube is not Hollywood. We're just regular people doing what we do, and we need your help to, you know, for the channel to grow and for us to have motivation to continue making videos for y'all. So please appreciate things for what they are, be grateful for what you have, and always be kind. So we'll see you in the next piece of the video. Working on the woodshed door here, and first step was to drill 2 holes for a 1-inch wooden dowel. And to do that, I've used this, a 1-inch bit, like so, and I have a piece of a 1-inch wooden dowel here that fits nicely in there. So on this, these 2 holes are roughly about 2.5 inches from side to side, so that gives the locking mechanism about 2.5 inches to slide back and forth. So about where that dot is there will be the fully closed position, about like so. And then when you pull the handle, you pull it all the way flush with the 2x4 there, so you can open or close the door, let the handle go, and then it'll automatically go back into a designated hole such as that, but over here in this 2x4. So I'm working on drilling them holes and making it so they're not too messy and in the right positions. So how about tip of the day? Tip of the day is, it'll be a double. First part will be have reasonable expectations, and the second part will be appreciate what you end up with. Tip of the day, have reasonable expectations and appreciate the outcome, the end product. And for the tools I had available to me, I would say that turned out pretty good. It was a bit of hassle because I had to drill a bunch of holes and then use those bits there to get the bigger openings on, like say this was one of the hardest parts, because I had to drill small holes in the corners and then kind of in the middle there, and then I had to use some big bits to get the majority out of the area there without making it too nasty and having a nice tubular shaped hole. And then this here, it's actually for cutting limbs off of trees, but it worked very good for getting the little excess out of the hole there. So yeah, reasonable expectations and appreciate the outcome. So I'd say I did all right. I'm happy. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you had a good time. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you had a little bit of entertainment. All right. It took some doing, but I made my dream come true, which would be the woodshed door here. And I had this brilliant idea that I wanted the wooden dowel to stick through the door and have a nice slot to slide back and forth, and it'd be connected to a 2x4 that would be the locking mechanism itself. But check it out, and then I'll show you how it actually works. So on the front, it doesn't look like much, but you pull the handle and it automatically closes. So see if I can pull it and video at the same time. See how it automatically goes back? It's automatic. It's a little bit tight, but that's good. But I made an automatic locking mechanism for the woodshed. So I just drilled a hole in the 2x4, stuck a 1-inch wooden dowel through it. I used the rubber portion of a bungee cord as the spring-loaded part, and then I used some old fence boards as spacers and 2x4s to kind of trap the 2x4, because this 2x4 is not bolted or screwed to nothing. It's just kind of sitting there in the groove. It's not the best work in the world, but for the tools I have available to me, like that's for cutting limbs off a tree, and we got the drill there, and we got some new bits, so I had to drill some small holes in it, drill some bigger holes in it. Then I had to use the wood rasp to get some of the bulk, and then that tool right there is actually what got majority of the big stuff. And we have put a nice 2x4 shaped hole into the 2x4 here, and check it out. It doesn't quite work as good this way because there's really nothing to hang on to, but you can kind of see how it works now. And then it pulls it back. I put a 2x4 down here to stop the door. It'd be kind of a stopper so it won't go inwards anymore. Put a piece of wood up here as another stopper, so it'll go as far as it needs to go and then no further. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's pretty tight, but that's kind of the way it has to be to function properly. It's actually a little bit hard to get out of here now that I'm inside, because I made it to function more for the outside, not so much for the inside. What I could do is I could just cut a longer piece of the wooden dowel so there's a nice handle on either side, and I think that'd be pretty dandy. So this would be how to build a spring-loaded locking mechanism for your woodshed. Smash that like button if you like it. Leave a comment below. Consider subscribing. And I just use the tools I have available and try to do things practically and as reasonably as possible. So if you want to see some more of my shenanigans, then watch my videos, smash the like button, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Later. Peace.